All right, Reddit, lay it on me. Because right now, my apartment feels colder than a server room after a blackout, and it ain't just the phantom chill of the argument still clinging to the air like stale cigarette smoke. It's this goddamn 50-50 rule we hammered out, this sacred cow of fairness that suddenly feels like it's got its hooves on her throat. Well, maybe not ours, but definitely hers. And maybe, by ripple effect, mine too. I'm Ethan, 28. My girlfriend, let's call her Chloe, she's 27. We've been solid for nearly 2 years. And from Jump Street, we were all about that 50-50 life. Rent, groceries, date nights, the Netflix account that's probably seen more of us than our own damn families, everything sliced right down the freaking middle. Seemed fair, didn't it? Modern, equal. I'm in tech, pulling down a decent paycheck. Chloe's a teacher, incredible at her job, passionate as hell. But let's be honest, the school system ain't exactly making millionaires out of its educators the way a mid-level software engineer can cruise. I always knew I raked in significantly more, but that 50-50 thing, it felt principled. Like we were building this partnership on a bedrock of pure, unadulterated equality. No one owing anyone a damn thing. Lately though, this principled setup has started to feel off. Like a perfectly coded algorithm that, when you run it in the messy, unpredictable sandbox of real life, spits out a seriously flawed result. Sure, I'd cover some of the bigger, one-off extravagances, that weekend getaway up the coast last fall, a slightly more blinged out birthday gift for her mom, the day-to-day, the relentless soul-grinding treadmill of bills and necessities, always, religiously, 50-50ths. And here's the kicker, the part that's got my stomach in knots. I've started to see the cracks. Not in her love for me that I've never had a reason to doubt, not for a second. But in her finances. She's stressed, man. I catch her poring over her bank statements online, that little worry crease deepening between her eyebrows like a goddamn canyon. She never complains, not outright. Chloe's proud. Independent to a fault, you could say, but I'm not a complete idiot. I know she's been siphoning money from her savings, that little nest egg she was so damn proud of building up, one painstakingly budgeted dollar at a time, just to keep her end of our 50-50 covenant from collapsing. And watching that, knowing that, it's been eating me alive. I remember when we first met. It was at this little indie coffee shop, the kind with mismatched furniture and art from local hopefuls on the walls. The air always smelled like burnt espresso and ambition. Chloe was tucked into a corner booth, lost in some dense art history tome, brow furrowed in that way she has when she's really concentrating. I was hunched over my laptop, wrestling with a particularly nasty bug that was threatening to derail a whole project. Then the classic meet-cute disaster. I fumbled my latte, a geyser of lukewarm caffeine erupting, a few rogue drops spattering her book. I was mortified, stammering apologies like a broken record. She just looked up, and this incredible luminous smile spread across her face, and suddenly the whole damn coffee shop seemed brighter. "It's okay," she laughed. "Just coffee. Your code, though, looks like it's putting up a fight." And just like that, we were talking. Not about the weather, not about sports, but about the guts of what we did. About logic and creativity, about the elegant dance of code and the persuasive power of a well-crafted marketing campaign. She got it, she got me, and I was hooked. Moving in together, a few months later, felt as natural as breathing. We found this pre-war one-bedroom, a little rough around the edges, but with good bones, and a balcony that overlooked a surprisingly green patch of City Park. It was there, amidst the chaos of unpacked boxes and the smell of fresh paint, that the 50-50 accords were drafted. It was Chloe's initiative, mostly. "I want us to be partners, Ethan," she'd said, her eyes direct and serious. "In everything. No one feeling like they're being carried or like they owe the other person. Equal footing." At the time, man, it sounded like the gospel. Logical, clean. It appealed to the engineer in me, the part that craves order and clear parameters. We even set up a joint Google Sheet, a monument to our shared financial transparency. Every expense, from the monthly rent check to that impulse buy artisanal cheese, was logged, categorized, and divvied up with ruthless precision. Venmo requests flew back and forth with the casual efficiency of a well-run startup. The first year, maybe year and a half, was smooth, golden even. We were the poster children for modern cohabitation. Our friends, a chaotic mix of artists, entrepreneurs, and fellow tech drones, marveled at our system. "You guys actually track your toilet paper purchases?" My buddy Dave once asked, half impressed, half horrified. Our little rituals formed. Tuesday night documentary binges, Saturday morning trips to the sprawling farmer's market, Chloe a whirlwind of discerning produce selection, me mostly trailing in her wake, a human shopping cart. Sunday evenings we'd cook something ambitious, a bottle of decent red wine breathing on the counter, music drifting from the speakers. Chloe was, and is, an incredible partner. When I was pulling all-nighters before a big product launch, she'd be my silent, steady support system. A fresh pot of coffee appearing as if by magic, a plate of her surprisingly good homemade cookies left on my desk. And I tried to be that for her too. Driving her to school on those miserable, sleety mornings when the subway was a guaranteed nightmare, or just being there to rub her shoulders after a particularly draining day of wrangling 35-year-olds. Our careers, they chugged along. Mine was steady, incremental raises, the kind that keep you comfortable, but don't exactly set the world on fire. Chloe's though, hers was a goddamn rocket launch. She's brilliant, that woman. Strategic, creative, fearless. Her agency saw it, and the promotions, the raises, the bonuses started piling up. I was, and I mean this genuinely, incredibly proud of her. No envy, no weird competitive bullshit. Just pure, unadulterated pride. But that growing chasm in our paychecks, that's where the 50-50 started to feel less like a symbol of equality and more like a goddamn anchor, weighing one of us down disproportionately. It wasn't one single thing. It was a slow drip, an accumulation of little observations. The way Chloe would sometimes hesitate before agreeing to a slightly pricier dinner out, her eyes flicking to the menu prices, with a subtlety I only started noticing because I was looking for it. The way she'd wear the same pair of favorite boots long past their expiration date, even though I knew she was eyeing a new pair. The almost imperceptible sigh when a bigger than expected utility bill landed. She never said a word, never complained. That's Chloe. Tough as nails, fiercely independent. But I saw it. I saw the strain around her eyes when she thought I wasn't looking, the way she'd meticulously track every penny in her personal budgeting app, a far more anxious process than our shared, almost celebratory, Sunday spreadsheet ritual. The final straw, the thing that made me realize I couldn't just keep my mouth shut and pretend everything was peachy, was when she mentioned, almost in passing, that she'd had to dip into her emergency savings again to cover her half of a slightly larger than usual grocery bill after we'd hosted a small get-together for friends. Her oh shit fund, the one she'd been diligently building for years, just in case. And she was using it for goddamn artisanal cheese and craft beer because our 50-50 rule demanded it. That just felt wrong. Deeply, fundamentally wrong. So, a few nights back, steeling myself, I decided to broach the subject. I picked a moment when we were relaxed, making dinner together. The kitchen smelled like garlic and basil, usually our comfort zone. I waited until we were at the table, plates piled high with pasta, a glass of cheap red wine in hand. "Hey," I ventured, trying for casual, aiming for just a thought, and probably landing somewhere near impending doom. "Can we, chat about the bill splitting thing for a minute?" Chloe looked up, mid-twirl of spaghetti, that beautiful, open smile of hers. "Sure, babe. What's on your mind? Did I owe you for the takeout last week?" "My bad." No, it's not that," I said a little too quickly. My palms were sweating. "It's just, I've been doing some thinking. This whole strict 50-50 thing, I'm not so sure it's really, the fairest way for us anymore. Or, well, maybe it's tougher on you than it is on me. Smooth, Ethan, real smooth." Her smile didn't just fade, it evaporated. "What do you mean tougher on me?" Her voice was suddenly stripped of its warmth. "I just mean," I fumbled, the words feeling like broken glass in my mouth, "that, our incomes are pretty different now. And that's awesome, Chloe, seriously. I'm so damn proud of what you're achieving. But maybe it would make more sense if we adjusted things a bit. Like, instead of splitting everything right down the middle, we could figure out a percentage based on what we each actually bring in, so it's more proportional to our earnings. Her reaction was explosive. Not in a yelling, screaming way, more like a controlled detonation. She put her fork down on her plate with a sharp, deliberate clink that echoed in the sudden silence. Her eyes, those warm, expressive eyes I loved, were now narrowed, glinting with something I couldn't quite decipher. Hurt, anger, betrayal, probably all of the above. Proportional? She repeated, and the way she bit off the word made it sound like an obscenity. Ethan, we agreed from day one. 50-50 equal, fair, that was the whole point. I know we agreed, Chloe, and at the time it absolutely felt fair, I said, trying to keep my voice from cracking. But things change, don't they? Circumstances change. Is it really equal if one of us is constantly feeling the squeeze, having to dip into savings for basic living expenses, while the other is, well, frankly, pretty comfortable? So what are you proposing? Her voice was dangerously quiet now, tight with a tension that made the air crackle. You want to, what? Take on more of the bills? Pay a bigger share because you make more money? How is that equal, Ethan? Doesn't that just make me dependent? It's not about you being dependent, I insisted, my own frustration starting to bubble up. It's not about me paying more like I'm some kind of benevolent overlord doing you a favor. It's about acknowledging the goddamn reality of our situation. It's about ensuring that neither of us is unduly burdened. I don't want you to be stressed about making rent or whether you can afford to go out with your friends. I see you worrying, Chloe, even when you try to hide it. I don't want to be kept, she bit out, and the word kept landed like a slap. I don't want to feel like I'm less of an independent woman or like you're holding my financial situation over my head. I want to be an equal partner in this relationship, Ethan. That's what 50-50 means to me. It means we're in this together, side by side, contributing equally to our shared life. And you are an equal partner, I was almost pleading now, in every way that matters. This isn't about your worth or your independence. Those things are non-negotiable. This is about the practical day-to-day bullshit of numbers on a bank statement. It's about one of us not having to hemorrhage their savings just to maintain some abstract ideal of fairnesses that only really works on paper when everyone's making the exact same goddamn salary. True equality isn't always about identical financial inputs, is it? Isn't it also about supporting each other based on our capacities so that the shared load feels genuinely shared, not just mathematically divided? She just stared at me, her jaw set, her eyes now glistening with unshed tears. It was a look that mixed profound hurt with something that felt like a deep, cutting suspicion. So you've been keeping tabs on my spending? You've been judging how I manage my money? You think I can't handle my half? No, God, no, Chloe, that's not it at all. My voice was raw. I care about you, deeply. And I see that this is hard for you, even if you're too proud to admit it. I don't want you to feel like you're drowning, financially or emotionally, just to prove a point about independence that no one, least of all me, is questioning. The rest of the dinner was a disaster. The pasta went cold, the wine tasted sour. She accused me of trying to control her, of patronizing her, of making her feel small. I tried, desperately, to reassure her that my intentions were good, that it came from a place of love and concern, of wanting to ease her burden, not to undermine her. But the more I tried to explain, the more entrenched she seemed to become in her position. She kept circling back to equality and independence as if my suggestion was a personal attack, a fundamental betrayal of the principles our relationship was built on. She ended up on the couch that night, said she needed space, needed to think, and I lay in our bed, alone, the space beside me a cold, vast emptiness, staring at the goddamn ceiling fan, feeling like the world's biggest, most insensitive asshole. I get where she's coming from. I really do. Her pride is one of the things I admire most about her. Her fierce, unyielding independence is part of what makes Chloe. I would never ever want her to feel like she's beholden to me or like our relationship is some kind of transactional arrangement where I'm the provider and she's the kept woman, that thought makes my stomach churn. But at the same time, watching her quietly struggle, knowing that I could easily alleviate some of that financial pressure, that I could make her life a little bit easier, a little less stressful, without it impacting my own lifestyle in any significant way, that feels wrong too. It feels like I'm prioritizing a rigid, abstract principle, a line item on a spreadsheet, over the actual, tangible well-being of the person I love. I'm not trying to be manipulative here. I'm not trying to gain some kind of subtle power or control over her by holding the purse strings. That's not who I am. Honestly, I just don't think anyone should have to go broke or drain their hard-earned savings just to maintain a 50-50 split that doesn't actually reflect the reality of their individual financial situations, especially when their partner is in a position to help without hardship. Is it not more equal in a deeper, more human sense to acknowledge those differences and adjust accordingly so that neither partner is unduly burdened, so that both partners can breathe a little easier? She hasn't asked me to change anything. That's the part that's really fucking with my head. This is all on me. Me seeing a problem, or what I perceive as a problem anyway, and trying to be the good guy, trying to fix it. And my fix has apparently backfired spectacularly, made her feel worse, made her feel less than, made her feel like I don't respect her. So Reddit, I'm laying it all out. AITAH, am I the asshole for wanting to change our long-standing financial setup, even though she never explicitly asked me to, simply because I can see it's causing her stress and I have the means to make it less so? Am I trampling on her fiercely guarded independence by suggesting I take on a larger share of our shared expenses? Or am I just trying to be a supportive, pragmatic partner in a way that makes practical, real-world sense given our different income levels? I genuinely thought I was doing the right thing, the caring thing, the loving thing. But her reaction, the pain in her eyes, the way she recoiled as if I'd slapped her, it's thrown me completely. I'm second-guessing everything. I genuinely don't know if I'm being a concerned, empathetic boyfriend or a condescending, controlling, spreadsheet-obsessed dick. And the silence in this apartment, the cold, empty space on the couch where she slept last night, is just making it all 1,000 times harder to figure out. Help me out here, internet strangers. What am I missing? Is there a way to be supportive without being patronizing? A way to be practical without crushing someone's pride? Because right now, I'm drawing a blank, and all I can feel is the weight of this goddamn 50-50 rule and the chasm it's suddenly ripped open between us.